it's kind of like when the quarterback gets all the bad pub when you're not playing good. He's gonna get all the good pub just as long as they're winning and be elevated into a play because of his last name. And the last thing with this is, I feel like Cooper got hurt and was the only Manning that never got to play. This one's gonna be hyped major big time before you have to do anything, just because the Manning fan wants this so much for Cooper. You got to think about this. This brother lived in the shadow of his brothers his whole life,
Yeah.
and now it's his son's turn. So I don't have a problem with any of it. I just, like Brent said, I've got to see Arch Manning be able to throw a one-on-one 3rd and 7 against this guy sitting next to y'all, because I just don't know if he can do it.
We know Williams-Brice Stadium was cranking on numerous occasions after that and during that 9-4 season a year ago. Big part of that on the Gamecock defense was DQ Smith, the 6'1", 209-pound senior safety. He started 34 of the 37 games in which he's appeared over the past 3 seasons, and again shared the South Carolina Spirit Award for the defense a year ago. And he's sitting at SEC Football Media Days with our Colin Lacey. Colin?
Dickie, you dive into this South Carolina team, and we were just talking about it. Last year, finished 9-4, but it felt like there was a lot of people that didn't really pay as much attention to that 9-4. What was it like in that locker room, knowing what you guys were doing, especially down the back stretch, and being able to finish the season like you did?
Coach Beamer always preaches to us, it's not what everybody on the outside thinks. It's about, what we think in the building, and we live by that. Not really worried about, what I'm saying, what everybody's thinking about us, just really going out there and executing. And, they showed on the field last year as well.
Now, DQ, when you guys finished the season with such great momentum and ending the season how you guys did that kind of lead into, like, how did spring and this offseason go? Did that kind of lead into to having that confidence and that momentum going to this next season?
I would definitely say the confidence is there, but, we don't want to get too big headed,
Yeah.
knowing about what happened last year. This is a new year for us, new team. A lot of guys left our team. We got a lot of new guys, a lot of freshman guys coming in. So it's a new year. So just really starting over from block one, working on the basic things, just getting better, and we'll hopefully get back to that point again.
Yeah.
DQ Bart here, and being the hometown guy, I'm very familiar with Hall's Chop House. Went to school with Billy Hall. I'm sure you've been there as well.
Is it?
But the hometown feel of Columbia, I had this conversation with Connor Murray Bulls, being from Columbia, and just I guess the ownership you feel, not only being from Columbia, but being from where the University of South Carolina is. I just think it's what we don't see nowadays is a kid that stays home. Just talk about the pride and what makes you want to be in Columbia playing for the Gamecocks. 'Cause you've been there, quite a while now.
Well, the first part that made me stay was, my family is close. So, all my family is here. So it's an amazing city for me and my family. And then the second part is just Coach Beamer, what he brings to the university when he was recruiting me, the excitement he brought, the closeness, togetherness he brought, everything. So just, I know this is what I wanted to be. The Tigre as well, being a defensive back coach, I feel like he's one of the best in the country. So there was no reason for me to leave. It's just all family here, all love. It's one of the best cities in my opinion.
We're visiting with DQ Smith, the senior safety for South Carolina, part of the Gamecock contingent at SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta today, along with Coach Shane Beamer, who now owns a 29-22 record. He's won more games in his first 4 seasons in South Carolina than any other coach in school history, led the Gamecocks to 3 straight bowl games. And DQ, every time I hear him, he talks about how much he loves his players. I would think the feeling is mutual. He's a guy you want to play for.
Absolutely. He preaches this every day. We even have it on our love in the team meeting room. His love is a core value for us. If love is not in the building, things won't go well. So, we all have to have love for each other, no matter if it's off the field, on the field, outside of the building, in the building, everywhere. Not just players as well, it's coaches, it's the training room, it's the equipment staff, it's everywhere. So it's contagious around, in South Carolina.
We talked about how good it was at the end of the last season. How excited are you to get it going again here in this season?
I've been ready since the season ended. I've been ready since the season ended. It's time to get back rolling. What we finished off, hopefully we can pick it back up from there. But we're just ready to start again.
We were talking about, or you were just talking about love and how that's one of your core values in the locker room and stuff. And one of the people we were just talking about before you walked up was one of your teammates, Sellers. What does he bring kind of to the table, to the locker room? He started to kind of what we saw as fans get into the rhythm a little bit as the season went on and just got better and better as the season went on. What does he kind of bring to the locker room as far as chemistry goes?
Everybody looks up to the Norris on our team. Obviously, he's the quarterback, but he brings a lot of funniness to the locker room. I can say that. Yeah, he's a funny guy, but a hard-working guy though. So he don't really have to be as vocal, but he still is vocal. But his work does show for what he does. And a lot of young guys, especially coming in, we see that. A lot of older guys, we see that as well. And when you have a quarterback that is working like that, it's contagious, and you want to follow him, and that's a great way to lead. And that's what he does a lot. Well, as leading.
Yeah.
DQ, as a former cornerback, I never could do this because I just wasn't physically athletic and strong enough to just keep receivers from going. And this is 30 years ago.
Okay.
But my question to you is this: tendencies, okay? The guys that you have seen before or the guys that you haven't seen before, what are a couple of just little tendencies? Is it the eyes? Is it the body language? What are the things that you look for to get that advantage against those receivers that you're going to face?
It's a lot of things you look for, to get advantages on receivers because, we play in the hardest league in college football in the SEC. So, it's a lot of things you have to look for to get clues of what's coming. Whether a receiver's coming up, he's looking hard inside or, by film, you could tell if his running pass about the way he's coming to the line of scrimmage. He's fixing his gloves or anything. So it's just little tendencies, going into the game. And then Coach T. Gray, he helps us with those. Coach White, we all pick up tendencies and, help us on the field on game days.
DQ Smith is in Atlanta, SEC Football Media Days representing South Carolina. He said he can't wait to get the actual season going. He'll do so right back there in Atlanta on a Sunday night, August 31st against Virginia Tech. DQ, we wish you and the Gamecocks the very best of luck. Thanks so much for making time for us here inside the press box, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Again, DQ Smith with us again. The 6'1", 219-pound senior safety with 34 career starts, the most of any returning player on that Gamecock roster. And again, a South Carolina product who has collected 164 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 10 pass breakups during his career. And he'll be a big part of that Gamecock defense for head coach Shane Beamer. And look out. I'm telling you, that's a team to watch, man. That is a team to watch.
I like him.
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just tell. I mean, why does he remind me of a cornerback?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just kind of has.
I almost guarantee he was a quarterback in high school.
But he's got that quiet confidence.
Was it?
You can tell.
Yeah,
played quarterback.
This cat, as a senior in 2021 in high school, he threw for 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, rushed for 500 more, and 14 touchdowns.
You gotta get a package for him on.
God, now you want a little two-way action played on both sides? Yeah.
That's the thing I love about coming to media days, and no matter which one you go to, whatever it is, you get to, and it's part of what we do with the press box here, and we've tried to do at least for years, is just trying to make it more personal. After this, I'm
personal
all
today. They can see us.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm all in with DQ Smith. I'm in with the Gamecocks right now.
Colin is Mike Grace.
Yeah.
And Brent. Colin is in his element right now.
Yeah. Me too.
No doubt.
I mean, that's what I've been away from coaching for what 2 or 3 years now, and trying to stay in the football realm. Obviously, doing the broadcasting stuff, and so, but you miss talking to those players and getting to know them and a different side of them. And so I love that. He got a little personal with us, even about Sellers in the locker room, and talked about, that people don't realize that he's a funny guy, but he's also kind of a no-nonsense. He's not – sounded like for me that Sellers isn't really like a cheerleader type guy in the locker room, but he also leads by example, and, you love to hear that.
The thing about that type of leadership, in the locker rooms I was in, it's kind of the same way. The funny guy, but when that funny guy has a different tone, he snaps his fingers. Brent, as a coach, like some guys have that command. They use humor to get to know their teammates, right? To develop a relationship with them. But they ain't joking around in it when it's 3rd and 5, and we got to have the line of scrimmage protected so I can have 4.5 seconds to throw the football.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, they like to show that they've got a personality and that they can, be a great teammate to their fellow teammates and stuff. But they also know that, like you said, when all jokes aside, when it's time to get down to business, it's time to get down to business, and there's no question about it.
A little sandstorm action at Williams-Brice Stadium.
You'll hear it a lot, boy.
There are few entrances as rocking as that one, man.
I
What was
heard
it, the
it about
caboose that you were telling us about last year, Height?
cabooses.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
pardon
Yeah.
me.
You
I
need to
didn't know
see
what
if
the
Jeff's
plural
there.
of caboose was.
Hey, if Cox by 90's there, y'all got to go get him, and I'm sure he's there.
Here?
Yeah, my boy Jeff, the Cox by 90.
Oh, that's right. That's when you
The world's largest South Carolina Gamecock
that's when
fan,
you
right?
were
Yeah.
Put me next to the bench at the game.
I was going to say, he basically lives at Hall's Chop House.
and that's
But
when you and Cocky got a little too close to Miss Paula's liking.
Paula did not like. Paula did not like. Cocky got the memo though, you know. Boy, I had some swag on too. But you know what? I do remember going to that game. I remember I broke my belt on the way in.
Oh, man.
That's on brand
left
if
it
I've ever
out-
heard it.
I left it outside in the shrubs
What?
and come back. Yeah, we left it outside in the shrubs. I just took it off and put it right in the shrubs before I went in the game. And
In
came
the
back.
shrubs?
Well, there was some
You
shrubs.
littered with a belt.
I come back and got it. I couldn't.
Oh,
fix it.
okay. You did come back. Raise your hand if you ever stopped at Walmart because you forgot your belt on the way to a road trip somewhere. Yeah. There's a couple of us
Yep.
on it. Oh, yeah. That is Colin Lacey and Brent Osborne set up live at SEC Football Media Days Digital Drive, what we used to call Radio Row. But because we're streaming live now at Mike Grace Facebook Live, Mike Grace Live on Facebook, you can see us there and hear us on great radio stations around the Southeast and online 24/7, PressBoxRadio.com. Colin and Brent there in Atlanta. Over in Starkville, our own Bart Heights, former Bulldog himself, and inside the MGL production studios, Mike Grace, glad to have you with us on great stations around the Southeast and online, PressBoxRadio.com. When we come back, we're talking college football with Mr. College Football. Tony Barnhart appears at SEC Football Media Days with our Colin and Brent next here inside the Press Box.